WrestleTalk.
The heel turn is complete. Drew McIntyre officially turned heel?
Mostly officially.
I'd say yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say he mostly definitely turned heel on this episode.
He shook hands with the devil, and by the devil I don't mean the AEW one, I mean Rhea Ripley.
Yeah, because Drew McIntyre, he beat up Jimmy Uso. He cost them the tag title. Jey Uso. Look at me. He beat up
the one
Jey
that
Uso.
says yeet.
He beat up not Jimmy Uso and cost them the tag title match. And yeah, he's aligned himself with, hasn't joined Judgment Day. At least I don't think he has. I don't think they got 2 new members on this episode.
He'll turn up in purple trunks next week, and everyone will rejoice.
Or as that person said on Reddit, he'll get a nice purple sword.
Oh.
But anyway, I am Luco in DAD. This is Pete Quinnell, and welcome to the WrestleTalk podcast review of Monday Night Raw. Please do press the subscribe button if this is your first time here and you haven't done so already. Give us a thumbs up as well. Leave a comment down below if you're watching this on demand with your thoughts on the episode. But hey, if you're watching live, want to get your thoughts in live with our wonderful live chat. And if you want your thoughts read out on the air, it's WrestleTalk.com/support, where we read out all of them above the $5 US amount. And hey, while you're clicking links, tickets to our watch party for Survivor Series a week Saturday. Oof. And a big thank you to this episode's sponsor, Geology. Click the link in the video description down below and use our promo code WRESTLE70 to get 70% off your first trial box. We'll talk about that a bit more after our main topic of discussion, which is also there's a QR code right above my head. So
over there.
You don't have to if you're too lazy to click a link, whip your phone out and then scan this QR code on screen right now, and it'll take you directly to where you need to go. But let's talk about Drew McIntyre. We actually kind of talk about a lot of this show, because this was a show-long thread.
Yep.
That was kind of like various different pieces of there's a lot of Judgment Day stuff, a lot of Cody and pals, and then sort of Drew kind of peppered in a couple of backstage segments. But what we had here was Cody came out to open the show, and he brought out his team, Sami, Seth, and Jay.
Wanted everyone to know that he's definitely the leader of this team.
Oh yeah, this is Team Cody.
Yeah.
This is Team Cody versus the Judgment Day. Seth and Sami were in their gear. So I was like, well, they're going to be having a tag match then. And then Dominic and JD were in their gear. I was like, I bet you that's the tag match then. So Judgment Day came out after Cody did his promo. They sort of teased a little bit of dissension between Cody and Seth, kind of letting you know that's a world title program we're going to do.
And also just all their history. That whole trilogy that they had with the torn tit and all that.
Well, exactly. I mean, that's what Judgment Day came out to say. They sort of ran them down individually to be like, hey, Seth, you're the champion. But what did they say about Seth and why he was rubbish? It's like maybe no one likes you or something like that.
I don't know. I can't remember what he said.
But he said to Cody, he was like, he's got a title that you'll never have because you're a loser. Sami,
you can't win a big one.
You're a loser.
Jay, you betrayed all of the other guys because of his bloodline and all that.
Exactly. Great reactions for the 4 coming out as well. Like, massive pop for Cody coming out. Huge pops for Sami, and Seth was mega over on this show. Like I would say there is a gulf in Raw in particular of people who are over and people who are not. Like these guys are over. Judgment Day is over. Like Dominic Mysterio is over. And then there's pretty much everyone else on Raw who comes out to basically no reaction.
Yeah. And you'll get the occasional person where they'll get like, not a monster pop, but they get like a, oh, cool, pop.
I'd say like Miz is getting like a, oh yeah, no, we do like the Miz. Miz is getting good, he gets like good reaction pops.
Yeah.
I don't think if Gunther came out, he probably would do as well.
Yeah.
But your man's like, your Ivars, your Indi Hartwells, your Xia Li's, your DIYs. Just come out to, yeah. When's Jay coming out?
Yeah.
Is Jay coming back?
I want to chant yeet again, please.
I want to do Seth. Is Seth coming back? Is he coming for a brawl?
Can we chant whoa?
So they got like mega monster pops in all of this. And, it's war game stuff, bantering back and forth, this, that, and the other. And it set up a tag match between Sami and Seth versus Dominic and JD McDonagh. And it was a pretty good, it took nearly 20 minutes to get to this point.
I will also say as well, as part of that promo segment, there was a bit where they goaded Damian Priest to say that he was the leader of Judgment Day. Like, oh, I'm surprised you got out here without your leader, Rhea Ripley, and all that. Like, well, she's not the leader. I know you're going to say that Judgment Day doesn't have a leader. What? Well, does that make it Finn? It's like, no, Finn's not the leader. It's like, what? Is it going to be Dom? Because I guess if it's not Rhea, it must be Dom. It's like, no, Dom's not the leader. And Damian says, look, I'm the leader. And you see Finn just go like, I don't know about that one, Chief.
Yeah, then a backstage segment later is like, look, guys, I didn't mean that.
I didn't mean the leader. You know?
I just meant, like, maybe I should be the leader for just the War Games match. And they were like, actually, that's quite a
good idea.
Yeah, good idea.
Yeah.
So there's, dissensions within the Judgment Day. We had this tag match. It took us about 20 minutes to get to the match itself. But, like, because the crowd is so hot, like, the action just feels great. Like, the action is just, like, it's so good. JD's really great. Dom's come into his own. Sammy's awesome. And Seth is great. But it ends in a DQ. Now, you might think, ugh, a DQ finish. Because I know I did. When the rest of the Judgment Day ran out and just caused a DQ, I was like, oh, man, like, I'm sick of watching these lads wrestle as it is, but now I'm getting to watch them wrestle with no finishes. Like, this is not doing it for me.
My note does say, a lovely little waste of time.
Yeah, pretty much. But it's there for a purpose. This was a DQ with a purpose. I'm not saying it's the best way to get to this end goal, because you could have done this. You could have just had a brawl, and then Adam Pearce said, you're all barred from...
You had a promo segment with all of these people right before this.
Yeah, I'm not saying that this is a great to get to the conclusion we got to.
Sure.
But, with that said, we did get... It led to something. This wasn't a DQ for the sake of a DQ.
Yes.
Because what happened was they all brawled. Cody and Jay ran back out. Producers came out. P.D. Williams was there, so it's a 5-star show. And... JD McDonagh took a bullet for Damian Priest, and this took the spear from Jay. And Adam Pearce grabbed the microphone and said, look, I'm sick of all of your games. And I was like, we did this last week, Adam. You've already announced War Games, bud.
Control-C, Control-V.
But he was basically there to say, the tag match later, when it's Finn and Priest versus Cody and Jay for the tag titles, everyone who is currently involved in this War Games match, who isn't in this tag title match, it's not only banned from ringside, you're banned from the building. So, I mean, Seth, Sami are going to have to leave the building. Dominic Mysterio, JD McDonagh are going to have to leave the building. Rhea Ripley was also cast asunder of, like, you can't be in the building either. So that, and it's quite a nice little red herring of everyone who was currently in this War Games match is barred from ringside. Which then led into our main event. But actually, there's another segment to talk about before then. Which is Seth was walking backstage and he runs into Drew McIntyre. And Drew just says, look, I lost at Crown Jewel, and you said that if I lost, it would be my own fault, and I've only got one thing to give you. And he offers out his hand for a handshake. Seth shakes his hand, and Drew says, I'm going to work my ass off to get back into that world title picture.
Yeah, you represent the title well done. Now I'm gonna work my ass off to get back to the title.
Yeah.
And that's it.
That's it.
Nice show of respect. And instantly I was like, I don't know, Drew.
I mean, I'm glad that you got that, because I was like, we're not doing that heel turn then, are we? Babyface Drew, is it? Idiot over here. And the other thing we had backstage with Judgment Day, aside from the one I mentioned earlier, was Damian Priest officially welcomed JD McDonagh into the group. Now, do you think that Priest did this almost as a way to appease the other members because he had the faux pas at the start of the show being like, I'm the actual leader of this group?
I think there's every chance that that's part of it. I think it's kind of a mixture of, okay, you guys are right, like, he took a bullet for me, he's been helping us out a lot, all right, fine, I'll do it. But then he wanted to make sure he was like, no, I should be the one to do it because I am the leader. But he didn't say that, but he was like, I feel like I should be the one to induct him into the group. And it could just be done as like, well, I should induct him into the group because I've been the one that's been most resistant to him. So it would mean the most coming from me. Or it could just be like, no, I should do it because I'm the best, that I'm the leader of the group, and it means the most because I'm the leader. Either way, it was pretty cool, though. He gave him a jacket.
He did give him a jacket.
Which is very important. You know, that is something that I think JD will treasure forever and ever. And I hope he wears it all the time.
So I just thought I'd have a quick check. The first teases of JD McDonagh joining the Judgment Day was on May 16th, or the May 15th episode of Monday Night Raw.
That's a solid, almost exactly 6 months.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Now, in fairness to WWE, that story was dropped for 2 of those months because Vince didn't want to do it.
Yep.
But yeah, it has been a lot of like, well, he took the bullet for it. I was like, yeah, I've seen him do that a lot. Like,
yeah.
Well, he did interfere. It's like, yeah, like he's been tagging with them and this, that, and the other. But like, yeah, 16th, so the May 15th episode of Raw is when we started.
It's a war of attrition, Luke. It's just chipped away over time, you know?
Yeah. This is not long-term storytelling. It's a story that has taken a long time to tell.
There it is.
But it did bring us into our main event, which was the Judgment Day versus Cody and Jay for those tag titles. Cody made a classic error in this match in which he and his tag partner hit their tag finish, had the match won, and he just rolled out the other side of the ring and left the other opponent in the ring to break up the pin.
Admittedly, he had just hit a crossroads on him, so would have been like, well, that's it, he's gone. Like, he hit a crossroads, and then they hit the Cody, Cody 1D,
the Co 1D,
Co 1D, and then he rolled out, and I assume that was like, oh, and then when Priest broke up, I was like, well, he did recover quickly from that crossroads, but yes, that is an error from Cody.
Like, he had to hit crossroads, like 3 crossroads on Damian Priest at Crown Jewel. Come on, Cody.
Yeah.
You're a prior on this, bud.
Barely a signature at this point.
But Jay's there running wild. He takes both of them out, and he's on the outside. And who should hop over the guardrail but Drew McIntyre? And Drew looks at Jay, and he gives him the Claymore, and he rolls him back in the ring, and Finn's going,
Yeah.
And he pins him, 1, 2, 3, and Drew saunters up the ramp while the Judgment Day celebrates, and out comes Rhea Ripley, and she shakes hands with Drew McIntyre.
Yeah.
Great closing to the show.
Really good close to the show, and I also enjoyed that the commentary didn't talk over this moment. Like, they'd done their bits of being like, you know, well, what does this mean for, you know, Cody and Jay disappointed, blah, blah, blah. And then they just had the moment where Drew and Rhea were there, and they just stopped talking. And they just let Rhea hold out the hand, Drew shook a hand, and they let us fill in the blanks, which is great. Good stuff commentary.
Yeah, no, I really, really like the presentation of this, the moment itself. So it looks like it is Drew joining, you know, aligning with the Judgment Day. He's not joined the group or anything, but he has turned heel.
Yeah.
He's aligning himself with the group, and they'll now need to find a 5th member for the War Games match, which spoilers now. You know, the reported plans are for this. So if you want to skip this, maybe stop the video now or come back to it in a week's time or skip ahead for a little bit. That's enough warning now, I think.
Yep.
It's Randy.
Randy Orton.
Yeah. So Fightful Select are reporting that it's Randy Orton is going to be the 5th member for Team Cody.
Yep.
After the show, in fact, Cody cut a promo saying like, oh, if they've got a new member, I can put a call into a friend of mine. And Randy's obviously got a history with the Bloodline as well, so that's some interesting dynamics in there. And that is going to be revealed before Survivor Series. So one would assume next week.
Probably. Yeah. Anticipate the Raw podcast thumbnail next week being Randy Orton return.
Yeah.
Probably.
I might just make it now. Yeah, so that's the theory, is that Orton comes back next week to round out Team Cody for Survivor Series. And the reason why they're doing it then is to alleviate some of the feelings and thoughts that people have that if they do it as a mystery man, people will think it's CM Punk.
Yeah.
So they can remove all of that doubt by just not having Punk there. By just announcing Randy Orton ahead of time. Because they did this last year as well, because it was going to be in Boston last year, and everyone thought that Sasha Banks was going to be revealed. And they're like, no, we just need to make sure, just tell everyone now it's Becky Lynch.
Yeah.
So we're not going to go into the show with people thinking it's going to be Sasha. And, you know, people might look at the Nakamura thing and be like, oh, but we still don't know what this means. But we don't know Nakamura's having a match at Survivor Series.
No. We don't know anything about that. Nobody knows what the hell he's talking about.
Like, so, as it currently stands now, there's 5 matches announced for Survivor Series. 2 of those are War Games matches. I would not be surprised if that's the full card for Survivor Series.
Yeah, 100%. Like, we know that Triple H likes to keep his cards a bit shorter. This one could be a bit longer because it's one of the big 4. Yeah. And we've seen on like SummerSlam and stuff like that, you can have a few more matches in there. But it's not going to be that many more, one would think. It could be a Nakamura match, but I don't know.
No, like, and yeah, I think, I mean, let me get the card up. Survivor Series.
That 2023?
Yeah, 2023. So yeah, actually currently there's only 3 matches announced, which is Gunther and Miz,
Yep.
Ripley and Stark,
Yep.
and the men's War Games, which will then have the women's War Games on top of
which
that.
would make 4.
Which will make a 4-match card.
So maybe there's a couple more in there. Maybe like 2 or 3 more at most.
I would certainly say there is at least 1.
Yes.
And I would, I don't know what else it could be if it's not the Nakamura match.
United States Champion Logan Paul
is not going to be on this show.
Probably not.
You could do something with the women's tag titles.
Yeah.
Maybe like Chelsea Green and Piper Niven versus Tegan and Natalia.
Yeah, it's a good one. If only there were like a men's world champion who isn't in a War Games match right now, who could like defend his belt against someone. I don't know who that would be. If only that existed.
Yeah.
Someone who used to have 2 belts, but it's now 1. Someone like that.
Someone like that, you know.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be the worst thing in the world.
Yeah.
So I the reason for the Randy Orton thing is so they don't have people going in with the conception that it could be a Punk return.
Yes, precisely.
They're trying to put out those fires now.
Yes, 100%.
Do you think he comes back?
Punk?
Yeah.
No.
I have a standing £10 bet with Ollie that Punk's not back. I've got until entry number 30 in the last Royal Rumble.
Yep.
Before he gives me a tenner.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. I think if we don't see him in the Rumble, we don't see him. Full stop.
Yeah. Fightful's like report on it was that he's basically just in their back pocket. Like, if they wanted him, they could just pick up the phone and be like, yeah, can you show up? And he'll be like, yeah, okay, I do need the work.
Yeah.
So, but they aren't like desperately in need for him. And really, like, they don't need him. No.
They're doing quite well right now.
They're doing quite well. But what did you make of the Drew heel turn?
I thought it was really well done. And I'm a sucker for long-term character development and this sort of tease of where things are going. This is when I start to take issue with people saying that like predictability in wrestling is bad, because I don't think it is. Because Drew turning heel was very predictable at some point, but the journey getting here has been really well done, so it feels earned. Because while shock, surprise heel turns can sometimes be really great and really capture like lightning in a bottle, like the Shield breakup was a really like perfect shock heel turn, the journey to get to Drew's heel turn here makes the turn better. It feels earned and it feels worth it, and it makes sense because it's been teased, so you know what the character is thinking about various situations, and it all makes sense.
Yep.
There's actual like good motivations behind it as well.
I completely agree with you. I've loved this story. This slow like tease and build, and like him like, you know, just not helping people when the joint beatdowns, be like, none of my business.
Yeah. And
then like going out to help Seth Rollins and be like, well, it's now becoming my business. I loved his promo going into Crown Jewel about Seth Rollins and just being like, you don't get it and you don't understand. And it's kind of why like I didn't really get on with Ronson's promo afterwards. I was like, well, Drew feels real. Like Drew feels like a real life character, whereas like Rollins didn't in that moment. But I've just been really enjoying this.
Yeah.
Last week, I'd said that my big prediction for the 5th members was going to be Jimmy and Kev. Because I was like, well, they've been part of this story for so long. It would be weird if they're not in this match, whereas Drew has really only been involved in this for the last 3-4 weeks. But, like, you know, Kevin's been part of the Judgment Day storyline since, well, May.
Yeah.
You know? So I wonder, why not Kevin Owens? Randy Orton's like a great surprise. Like, it's a great return. But, like, it's kind of bummed me out. Like, it's not Kev, because Kev's been part of this story. Yeah.
I mean, the thing you're forgetting is that the brand split is really important, and people can't break that, you know?
Yeah.
You can't have someone from SmackDown go into a Raw War Games match. What are you talking about?
A Raw Games match.
A Raw Games match. It should be KO, really.
Yeah. Like, but Randy will be cool.
Randy will be great, and I'm looking forward to it.
There was someone in the live chat, like, before the show went live, said, man, like, when you hear I Hear Voices next week, it's going to hit different.
Yeah.
Because it's been a while.
Oh,
it's been a long while since we've had Randy on our TV screens. And I've missed seeing Randy Orton.
Yeah, same.
Like, you know, there's the doctors told him, probably don't.
Don't come back, though.
Yeah, probably don't do a wrestle. And he's just like, yeah, but, you know.
Yeah, but now, though.
But, you know, he's in charge of his own destiny. More power to him.
Yeah.
It's like the Danielson thing. More power to you. I'm looking forward to him being back.
Yeah, same. One final note on the main event, because I'm not often on these podcasts, so I don't get to say my thoughts on a lot of stuff that people have had the opportunity to say. I never thought I'd hear Michael Cole say, "Listen to the yeet chants." It's just a line. I heard that in the main event. I was like, "Oh, what timeline am I in?" Wow.
Let's get into your alpha chats for this show. WrestleTalk.com/support. We'll read out all of them above the $5 amount. And Bacon Rasher is kicking things off to say, "Hi lads, great end to Raw with Mackie D and Ripley. Also JD now in JD. They are stronger than Cody and his army. Bring on Survivor Series. And I'm just waiting for payday before I get my ticket to join you down to the pub. All the acronyms. Love you lads. I'm 39. Jammy jam jam." I think that came from my edited review of Raw, because there's the segment later on when Akira Tozawa was doing his little dance, and just this segment that just went all over the
yeah,
place.
it was wild.
And it was just like lots of people just saying lots of things.
Yeah.
And, you know, a lot of people doing like, sort of this wacky thing. I was like, man, I'm nearly 40.
Yeah. That was a sensory overload, that segment. I was like, wow, that's a lot happening.
Kuzu here says, Raw's main event scene is pretty great, but it definitely highlights how cold everyone else is. But I feel like Triple H has more faith in them than Vince would. Drew's heel turn was worth the wait, and I can't wait till next week to see what happens. I mean, that's the sign of a good Raw, right? Like, as you want to see next week's episode of the show.
Absolutely.
And on your point as well, like Sean was talking about this on the Fightful post show, but this idea, like we, you know, for so many years we were used to the Vince 3-week push. You're brought out on TV, you're given 3 weeks. If you're not over by the end of those 3 weeks, you're never seen again. Or like you get a character refresh. We'll put a GIMP mask on you.
Yeah.
We'll, give you a brand new character, a new name, new entry theme. But Triple H is playing a much longer game. Is Tegan knocked over now? No. But showing you video packages. They're giving her wins on TV. So the next time they're in Washington and she comes out again, she's that little bit more over, because they're like, oh, we saw her last time. And she's been doing all of this regular stuff on TV. And so then the theory is, the next time you're in Washington, you're over.
Yeah. It's the long game.
It's the long game. It's regularly featuring people on TV. It's giving them characters. It's giving them motivations. And character motivations is maybe a bit of a stretch in some cases. But I think they are giving people stuff to work with. I thought the Tegan Knox video package on the show was really great.
It was, yeah. I mean, video packages have always been WWE's strong suit, so using them better, more effectively to get people over is always going to be a good thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think the long game, we're actually seeing the fruits of that now. If you look at the main event scenes, it's not just Roman anymore. Because before, in the Vince era, it was Roman and whoever he was facing that month. And that was who was over, and there was literally nothing else on the show. Now you have Cody, Jay, Sami, KO, all of Judgment Day, Roman, whoever Roman's feuding with, LA Knight. Like, you have a lot of these guys that have kind of slowly built over time because of stories and are still over because of stories, and they've just been made to feel really big. Like, it's just a build over time just works.
As it, like, to Kuzu's point, that's what I mentioned earlier, everyone is so over in the main event scene, it makes everyone else feel like they're ice cold.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that, like, Triple H is going to give up on them. He's not going to be looking at them and being like, oof, wow, you're getting no reaction out there. You're going to be taken off TV. We'll go with someone else. No, it's like, all right, you're not now, but 3 months' time, let's see how we're getting on. Playing the long game. Bob Burwell has been a member for 26 months in a row. Says, does this heel turn mean that Drew is joining Judgment Day, or just teaming with them for Survivor Series? He should go after Seth post Survivor Series win and title, and Sami to win at WrestleMania.
I don't think this means Drew is joining Judgment Day. I think if he was, I think it would be, a full like Judgment Day celebration. You know, they like get him up on their shoulders and be like, "Hey, lads, like, yeah, new person, come join." There wasn't any of that. It was just like, we have made an agreement. It's just him and Rhea Ripley. We shook hands. We're on the same page for something. Yeah, and that's it. That's as far as it goes. It's an agreement, an alliance.
I think this should build to a Drew-Seth rematch because, you know, Rhea Ripley's whole point to Drew was, you can't beat him without us. So here he is. He's going to help Judgment Day beat them at Survivor Series, and then that gets him another title match. Yep. And I could see Judgment... I'm 50-50 at the moment on... I think the fractures within Judgment Day could lead to them losing the match, or it's going to be Drew in there pinning Seth Rollins, and that sets up that future title match between the two of them.
Yeah. And that's the thing, you could have it go either way in that Drew helps Judgment Day win, and he's like, hey, look, I held up my end of the deal. I helped you guys win at War Games. Now you have to get me a title match with Seth. Or it could be, I held up my end of the deal by being in that match. I helped as much as I could, but it was your guys' fault that we lost. You still need to help me hold up your end of the deal and get me this title match. Both work.
I think I much preferred your second option there, because it was only after I'd finished saying my sentence where I suddenly thought, like, no, this whole storyline we've been building is Team Cody versus the Judgment Day. I don't want then Drew to pin Seth, because that's now... It's actually got nothing to do with Team Cody versus Judgment Day. It's all about Drew versus Seth.
Yeah.
Because this should be the end of this. Sami and Jay and Cody and Kev versus the Judgment Day.
Yep.
Because we've been doing this for 6 months. This should be the end point of that story.
Yep.
So I don't want the story focus to be Drew and Seth.
Yep. Agreed.
Because that's not the focus right now.
Drew wins the title at the Rumble, beats Seth. Sami wins the Rumble, challenges... He could challenge Roman. He's not going to win. He could challenge Drew at that point, and Sami wins the belt at WrestleMania. Would be rad. I like that.
I think Seth's champ till Mania.
I don't want him to be. And if Drew is going to get another title match, I want him to win this one, because this is the difference maker now. The point was he lost because he didn't have Judgment Day on his side last time. Now he does, and this will get him the win. In theory.
Or Seth just beats me again.
Don't do that, though. That's what I'd say. Don't do that.
Yeah. I mean, you don't have to do that. It's just I don't think Drew's winning the belt anytime soon.
I want him to, though.
Let's get into the rest of the show. Actually, no. Let's talk about our sponsor, Geology. Click the link in the video description down below, or scan the QR code that is above my head right now for Geology. Your trial set is available right now, and if you use our promo code WRESTLE70, you get 70% off. Plus, there are savings to be made with any additional add-ons that you put into your basket as well. We've been sponsored by Geology for a long time. Long time. Multiple years we've been sponsored by Geology, and I've been using this product since they started sponsoring us. You know, a lot of times we get stuff that's like, hey, can you sponsor us? Like, yeah, sure, you get the product, and you're like, this is cool. I'm really glad I've got this product. Enjoy it. But this is like, I got this. This is awesome. This has been really great. This has really revolutionized the way that I look after my skin and the way that I feel about myself, which I think is a really important thing in this modern day. I feel good when I have a better skincare routine. And I'm not very good at skincare routines. So Geology does it for me. It literally comes with a card that says, put this one on at this time, this one on at this time, do this one, use this much at this point on these areas.
Yep. And it also is very, very handy because, like, the pumps that they have, you just do one squeeze and then it's like, that's the amount you need.
One pump.
You just don't need to think about it. You just go, boop, and then it's done. It's perfect.
It's a really, really great system. And all you've got to do is click the link in the video description down below. Take the survey, and the survey will pick out a set for you. It will find out what it is you want to get out of your skincare regime, and it will give you that skincare regime. You get 70% off your trial set at using our promo code WRESTLE70. It is a fabulous service. They've been great sponsors to us over the years. We're big, big fans of Geology. So click the link in the video description down below, or scan the QR code that is above me right now, and get yourself Geology. Right, let's get into this show. We kind of talked about a lot of the opening of this because we had the promos with Team Cody and the Judgment Day, then the tag match, and then we had Rhea Ripley stayed in the ring to have a pop at Adam Pearce.
Yeah, and Adam Pearce in response, quote's gone with the wind?
Sure does. Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
Finger on the pulse as always.
And this brought out Zoey Stark. It's not her strong suit.
No.
Is a promo.
No, it's not.
But Ripley is a fabulous promo.
She's
great. She kind of like elevated the segment somewhat because she talked about, I'm Rhea bloody Ripley.
Yeah.
And it was fantastic. I loved her line of like, Zoey, you're only going to be a champion if you go to another brand.
Yeah.
That's a great line.
Mummy's always on top.
Yeah. But it was Zoey Stark that stood tall at the end of the segment.
Yeah, I don't think she beat her up necessarily, but Rhea had to like escape.
Yeah, bail out, and Zoey Stark stood tall. Like, you know, you want to try and heat this match up a little bit. I said my piece in this last week. If you're going to do Zoey Stark versus Rhea Ripley, I wouldn't have put Zoey Stark in the Fatal 5-Way match, you know, where she then lost.
Yeah.
And I just done a Fatal 4-Way. But yeah, I think they'll have a good match. It's just I don't think anyone's going to particularly believe that Zoey Stark is going to defeat Ripley. Nakamura cut a promo to about how he is looking for his next target. He knows who it is.
Yep.
And the commentators were really putting this over. He knows who he's talking about, but no one has a clue who that might be. CM Punk returned.
It's Akira Tozawa. I don't know.
Well, he's already beat him last week.
Yeah. Beat him again.
But like this, so Sean was talking about this on the Fightful Bow show and made me laugh. You know, this idea of, well, we want to announce Randy Orton now so people don't think it's going to be CM Punk. And it was like, well, a way to make people not think CM Punk's coming back is to stop making CM Punk references. Like you could just stop doing all of that, and like, because people are reaching for a lot of things and putting 2 and 2 together to make it 5. I'm not saying that CM Punk definitely isn't coming back. There's every chance that Punk does come back.
Yeah.
I actually think there's a probably stronger possibility than not that he does come back. The big tester for that, though, will be if next week on Raw, Nakamura set an open challenge for Survivor Series.
Yeah.
If Nakamura announces an open challenge for Survivor Series, then I think Punk is coming back.
I agree, because they would be fools to do that if it's not Punk.
Yeah. The other thing to do is, if it's not going to be Punk, is you just don't have Nakamura on the show.
Yep.
This is a storyline that is going for someone else, and that's it. And you just reveal that maybe the Raw after Survivor Series.
I have no idea who it could be if it's not Punk.
Could it be? Because it can't be. It's not Seth.
No. I just don't know. Are you going to look up the roster?
List of WWE personnel.
It's the best Wikipedia
It's the
page.
best Wikipedia page. If you're going to do a fancy booking, this is where you want to go. Right. It's probably not Apollo Crews.
No, probably not.
Probably not Braun.
No.
Bronson Reed already feuded with.
Yeah.
Probably not the Creed.
No.
Cody? Maybe?
It feels...
It's probably not Judgment Day. It's definitely not Dexter Lumis.
It would feel anticlimactic to me if it were Cody. I'll say that much.
People said, like, a couple of people saying Cody. Now 2 people have said Brock. Yeah, all roads lead to Punk. It's probably not Jey Uso, although it actually could be Jey.
It just feels weird for it to just be like a regular member of the roster. Like, it would have to be someone special, otherwise it would just feel like an anticlimax.
That's Sami. Like, that was his first match in WWE.
Yeah,
rekindle some of that NXT fire.
Yeah, I mean, I think that is the most palatable option that's not Punk.
Yeah.
Sami, there's something there.
Sami is one that sits quite nicely within what he's talking about, and it ties into his character history, ties into Triple H's love of NXT.
Yeah.
Because I don't think it's Veer Mahan. It's not.
I hear he's coming.
It's not. Ricochet's already feuded with him. It's not Odyssey Jones, because I don't think he exists.
I don't think he's real.
I'm pretty sure that's a made-up person.
Yeah.
And someone keeps putting him on Wikipedia.
They got one of the 2K renders on the draft graphic.
Gunther might be the only other person, but that's heel.
Yeah, the only one that makes sense to me out of that would be Sami. But even then, I think people will be like, did you really need to do all of that for a Sami feud when you could just do a feud?
Just looking at some of the other people's chats. AJ, LA Knights.
AJ, again, there's stuff there for that, but also AJ's on SmackDown right now. And as we know, the brand split is sacred.
Ilya Dragunov. Lexus King. Can't put sunglasses in his pocket. See that clip. God, it was funny. Like, I feel so bad for Pillman Jr., but man, he's had a rough old go of it since coming into WWE, because like any time he's on NXT, the following day everyone's like, the swaggerless of this man is palpable. And it does not help that then he had this segment where he's in the ring with Trick and Mello as well, who are like so unbelievably charismatic and are so over, and he can't then put sunglasses in his pockets because they're not real pockets.
Yeah.
And he doesn't realize that, and then he just go, throw his sunglasses on the floor. It's, man, live TV maybe not the one.
Yep, maybe not. He'll figure it out.
Sami and Seth were walking backstage, and Cody wanted to just draw a line with Seth, be like, look, we can be enemies for 364 days, but I need you on one day to just be on my team.
Yeah.
It says, like, I don't like you, but I do respect you. The War Games will be good.
Yep. Which was nice.
Yeah.
I like that.
It's Christmas Day feud. I feel like that's a Christmas
Sure.
Day world title match. It's
Why
Cody
not?
and Seth.
But that would mean that Cody has to challenge for a belt. How would he finish the story if he's going for a different belt?
Well, he's not going to win, so it doesn't.
He also doesn't care about the belt. He's been like, whatever. It's not finishing. It's not beating Roman, so I'm not finishing the story.
Shinsuke Nakamura beat Otis in a fine little match. This match was basically Otis being like, I'm going to slam you as hard as I can, and Nakamura being like, well, I'm going to kick you in the head as hard as I can then.
Yeah. I enjoyed this match. I thought it was alright. Would you like to know the full list of moves that Shinsuke Nakamura hit in this match?
I think it's just mostly Kinshasas.
It is. He did, the kick he does, where the person catches it and then he spins through and kicks him with the other leg.
Mhm.
Did that,
Yeah.
and 3 Kinshasas. That's it. That's every move that he hit on Otis in this match.
This was a dominating Otis match.
Otis nearly killed this man. He was dominant in this one. It was just like a bunch of back elbows, throwing him around, big powerbomb, all that stuff. And Shinsuke would go for stuff and Otis would be like, no. Like, he'd just roll through, like, he'd go for an elbow and he'd just, like, pounce through it and run through and all that stuff. And then Nakamura hit the kick and 3 Kinshasas and then won.
Do you know what match this was? This was Billy Gunn versus Darby Allin.
Yeah.
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 Because that match was Billy Gunn did loads of moves. And then Darby Allin just hit 3 coffin drops and won.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah. And like, that's what Nakamura did. He got beaten up a bunch, then hit 3 Kinshasas and he won.
Yeah. I
had a great time with it.
Just unsurprisingly very surprisingly one-sided in this match. I was
didn't win.
Yeah, I was just taken aback. It was just very, very surprising to me.
So he then pushed Chad Gable afterwards to set up a match between them for next week.
For Survivor Series, obviously. I don't know.
I feel like the Alpha Academy have lost all momentum.
You feel like?
Well, me and Dan have talked about this before, and I do say it's like, I'm not saying that they can't get that momentum back.
Absolutely.
But I had this thought this morning when I was like, I mean, that's true. They can just get that momentum back because Chad Gable's great and the Alpha Academy are really, really good.
Yes.
But surely a better idea is just to keep the momentum.
One would think,
Like, if the momentum's high,
yeah,
just keep riding that as opposed to just letting all that momentum go and then having to start again.
Yes. And, we were saying before how, like, long builds work. And, when people rise and people have been really over because of stories, and then even past those stories, they've just kind of maintained at a main event level. People like Jey Uso, people thought, well, he's not feuding with Roman, he's going to drop off, and he's still been a main event star. Sami and KO, they've still maintained, like, main event status after everything. And with Chad Gable, everyone was like, that's the guy. That's the man right there. He should dethrone Gunther. He's the guy who's super into this. That's awesome. And then they went, nah.
They're just back to being enhancement guys again.
Yeah, it's really strange.
Yeah.
Would have just kept that going.
We've got a promo for War Games and an explanation of the rules.
Hope we don't get another one of those later.
I said this last year and I'll say it again. They're using the inferior version of this song. I know it's the original, but Faith No More did it better. We then got the Seth and Drew segment. That's my controversial take for the episode.
Yep.
I'm sure that'll be the one that everyone picks up on in the comments.
Definitely.
Pipe and Niven took on Tegan Nox in a match. We got a really good promo for Video Nox about how she's been defined by this injury and now she is back and she's not going to be just that girl that got injured.
Yep.
Really, really cool. The loudest person in this match, though, was Natalya at ringside. And
not Chelsea Green.
no, it was Natalya.
Yeah.
She was way louder. This also had 2 different distractions in it. Piper Niven got her foot on the ropes after the Shiniest Wizard, but then she missed doing her butt splash, and Piper Niven Tegan Nox rolled her up.
Yep.
Not very good.
Yeah, it was a bit of a weird match. This one a little bit sloppy in places, so people couldn't quite connect with a lot of the offense, and I feel like the camera missed quite a bit of the action as well, which didn't help. I like what they're definitely trying with Tegan Nox, and I appreciate them trying. I think they need to probably give them a bit more time and a bit more chance to showcase some of the impressive offense that we know they can do. Like, there was a couple of bits in here where, like, Piper Niven hit a shoulder breaker, and I was like, whoa, you don't normally see that. That's cool. More of that, please.
Yeah.
But it just needs to be kind of more, it's, like we said, it's a long process to build someone, and I think just keep doing more of that and just giving them chances to wrestle and put on good matches, and then they'll be golden.
I think Nox is great.
Nox is fantastic.
Tegan's, she's they're really great.
Yeah,
I'm
I really like both of them.
Big fan of Tegan. I'm a big fan of Piper Niven.
Mm-hmm.
But this match, it was given like 4 minutes.
Yeah.
So like, there's only so much you can do in those 4 minutes. And I don't think you then needed to do the foot on the ropes after the shiniest wizard. You probably could have just ended the match there.
Yeah.
Because the finish afterwards just was not as good as that finish. And 2 distractions and stuff like that. But it sets up a tag title match. Tag title program.
Yeah. Cool.
We've got a recap of Miz winning the 4-way last week, and then Jackie interviewed the Miz. He did, you'll be surprised to know, some bad comedy. And then Ivar walked in and called him a clown, and he's correct. But then Bronson Reed, that's what I love about Bronson Reed. Big Bronson Reed. Big air quotes for
big Bronson Reed.
Is that he walks up and is like, hey, you guys are lucky that I was like, you got pinned, mate. Like, why are you walking with this bravado being like, yeah, you guys are lucky that it's not me that's going into the match. I'm like, no, of course, because you lost.
Yeah. But
he walks in like he won. It's kind of a great character.
Yeah. I like confidence, and that's okay.
Yeah. But this was this I think is going to be my main critique I have of the Miz stuff on this week's show. Miz was not the focus.
It quite literally was in the background of this backstage segment.
He left.
Yeah.
Halfway through the segment with no facial. He literally just walked out of frame.
Yeah.
And in the match that he has later on, he was again a bit of a background player to set up this Ivar and Reed match. Don't get me wrong, Ivar and Reed sounds great. But Miz is facing Walter at the pay-per-view. I think we should just give Miz a big win and focus on the Miz.
Yeah. Agreed.
Tommaso Ciampa took on Ludwig Kaiser. This match also saw some interference and distractions as the referee ejected Giovanni Vinci after Gargano dobbed on him. And then he just came back anyway and beat up Johnny Gargano, and that distracted Ciampa, and Kaiser won.
I wrote down, Vinci gets ejected. Sure hope he doesn't come back. I wrote that as a joke, riffing off of the Cody finish at WrestleMania. One of the things that still really bugs me about that match. And then I wrote, hey, Vinci's back. I wrote that as a joke. Don't stop doing that. If someone gets ejected, they're actually ejected. Stop having them come back. It's really annoying.
But Pete, how else are you going to break up Imperium? Like, how else are you going to give Imperium problems if you don't do these sorts of things?
Don't break up Imperium. That's what I'd say to that one. Also, in this match, Michael Cole said that Ludwig Kaiser was, Wade Barrett said that Ludwig Kaiser looks like he's out of the Louvre in Paris. And Michael Cole said, I don't know if you've ever been to the Louvre. It's not that impressive. It's like, what's your beef with France, Michael Cole? Like, you know, that's where the Mona Lisa is, right?
That's a pretty good line, though.
Really, like, I don't know. That was really weird.
Well, you know, there's Americans. They do know their culture.
Oh, sure do.
Yeah, that's quite a great line from Cole. That's really funny. The second that Kaiser was in this match, I was like, Ciampa ain't winning this.
No, absolutely not.
Because they're really protecting Kaiser. Vinci's there to take pins. Kaiser is not. And
good. Build other people up. That's good.
But yeah, they've really got something in Kaiser, and I think he's got a really good presence about him. He's got a really, he's really good in ring.
Yeah.
And despite the fact, this was getting zero reaction from this crowd, but they were just giving it their all. And again, it's that long-term play. So I enjoyed this, but this DIY reunion it ain't clicking, folks.
Not yet. Long builds, Luke. Long builds. Also, that's entirely the reason why I had Ludwig Kaiser win a match in my fantasy booking of Logan Paul as world champion, because I think he's cool and I think he deserved a big win, and he got one. I just didn't follow up on it enough.
The Mona Lisa actually does suck in real life.
You know, you're probably right.
So there's comment there in the in the live
chat. The
chat.
Louvre's really cool. It's a pyramid. I like it.
I've never been. Xia Li took on Indi Hartwell. Xia Li's story is, outside of being the dumbest character in wrestling, is that she knocks people out with her spinning kick. In this match, she did a different kick and still knocked Indi Hartwell out. Or didn't knock her out, but knocked her loopy enough. Yeah. She's giving people concussions. That's her gimmick.
Yeah, which is a bit weird because she legit did that in NXT.
Well, they're playing off that.
Yeah, which I guess is fine. It's just a bit weird because if something goes wrong and she does it wrong, it's like, oh no, that's real.
It's a real one.
Oh dear.
Again, this went like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
So it's not given enough time to get over, and therefore it didn't really. Becky came out afterwards, and she is over. And she was like, look, you suck at wanting to have fights with people, so I've made it official. You have to have a match next week.
Yep.
And Xia Li was like, "Ooh,"
and then ran away.
Yeah, Xia Li continues to be the dumbest character in all professional wrestling.
I have a take.
Oh.
I think that Xia Li might be the most shouty wrestler since The Undertaker.
Go on.
She's a shouty lass.
Yeah.
Every bit of offense she does, it's a yeah. For every like punch, every whip, everything, and I'm like, it's just The Undertaker. It's the or the as he's running the ropes,
Yep.
and I'm like, man, I think Xia Li might have taken the crown. That's a shouty wrestler right there.
Yeah, well, when she's over, you won't hear it.
Oh no, of course, yeah.
We got a recap of Zoey and Shayna in the Battle Royal last week, the one that Zoey Stark won, and they then hung out backstage to have some stilted, bad acting.
That is some BBFF energy. Bad best friend forever energy. That one.
And then Raquel Rodriguez walks up to stand in a row, and then Nia Jax walks up to the other side to make it a foursome standing in a row.
And Nia Jax doesn't even look at the person she's talking to because the framing's bad. So she's talking over here, but they're over here. It's silly.
It's got high school drama energy to it. It sets up Raquel versus Nia for next week.
Yeah.
Miz then beat Ivar with, you won't believe this, distractions and interference. So Reed came out to distract Ivar. It's got previous with the Miz, of course. Miz brought him back into the company as a hired gun.
Forgot about that. Yeah.
And Ivar sort of had the match won on a couple of occasions, but Miz kept kicking out. He then was set up to do the moonsault, but Bronson Reed distracted him from that, and then Miz rolled up Ivar, put his feet on the ropes, and got the win. Which is quite nice, because Miz's promo he had earlier was like, look, a lot of people have taken on Gunther, but none of them will do what it takes to win. I will do what it takes to win.
Mm-hmm.
There's a difference between having the belt for the longest time and being the greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time, which is what I am.
Yeah.
So in this match, even though he is babyface Miz, he is 100%, 100p babyface now. He's the Miz.
Mm-hmm.
And so he puts his feet on the ropes to get this roll up. I think that's really, really smart and really nice, because that's going to be a very different Gunther match.
Yeah.
And he'll have those moments where he has his feet on the ropes to get, nearly getting that 2.5 moment that I think will be really, really good come the pay-per-view.
I hope so. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, because I genuinely believe this is going to be the best Miz match we've ever seen. And I'm pumped for it.
Undoubtedly so, going to be the best Miz match we've ever had.
And no doubt that when he does a head scissors, which is, I just want to clarify, a normal wrestling move that a lot of wrestlers do, he's going to be pulling out all the stops, as Michael Cole said, in this match.
There was a comment last week that said to me, look, if you have nothing nice to say about The Miz, then don't say anything at all. So then Reed laid out Ivar with the tsunami.
Love that.
I'm a big fan of Bronson Reed and Ivar. I think they're going to have a great big meaty slapping match.
Yep.
It's going to be wonderful.
Yep.
Wait, did you miss the video promo for War Games earlier? Did you miss the rules?
No, I actually got him clear as day.
Oh, okay. I mean, it's here again. After the Miz Ivar match, I was like, oh man, it's actually like there's a good chunk of the show left. You have a lot of time dedicated for this main event. No, because for the next 15 minutes, we just got a lot of backstage chats. Because there was that promo for War Games. Then we had the Judgment Day moment where Priest brought JD McDonagh into the group.
Mm-hmm.
Then we had Gunther chatting with Vinci and Kaiser, with Gunther congratulating Vinci on winning the match. Stop trying to break this group up.
Seriously.
And we set up the idea that the next challenger for Gunther is Jinder Mahal.
What? Okay.
It's not just me, right?
Well, okay. So here's what happens: is he was praising Giovanni Vinci. Gunther and Vinci were like, and they walk away, and Kaiser's just like, "What? I want the," and he's looking all dejected. And then Indi Hartwell there with Jinder Mahal, right? And Kaiser's just like, I don't know what's happening. And Jinder Mahal goes, if I were you, you should choose your next move very wisely. And that's it. That's the segment. What does that mean? Why is Jinder Mahal there?
Next challenger for Gunther.
I don't like it. I don't want to see it. TBH.
Well, all I'm seeing is there's 3 of them.
Oh!
And there's 3 in Imperium.
Faction warfare, baby!
I smell some 6-man tags, player.
God. There's definitely going to be a tag match of Xia Li and the other one. I'm so sorry. Whatever his name is.
Sanga?
Yeah. There'll be a tag match of them 2 versus Kaiser and Vinci.
Yeah.
Vinci will get pinned, of course.
Yeah.
And then that leads to a Gunther Jinder Mahal match. Can't wait.
It smells of... we're waiting for the Rumble. We're not going to do big Gunther matches now because we've got to wait till the road to WrestleMania before we start doing those.
And I want Gunther to have another stellar performance in the Rumble. That would be wonderful. He doesn't need to win, though he should win. But another stellar performance, please.
And then we had Alpha Academy chatting with the Creeds backstage. So I'm going to try and play through this segment as best as I can.
Yeah. So
the Creed brothers tried to recruit Alpha Academy and say, you need to come under Creed tutelage.
Yep.
And Chad said, no, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And Creeds then said, we want a tag title match. Because they mentioned the tag titles, this summoned the New Day. And the New Day showed up and said, well, we want the tag titles too. And everyone pointed out, didn't you lose a tag match last week? And they were like, yeah, but we're the New Day and we're going to go for the tag titles. The camera then leaves this conversation to the other side of the room where Maxine Dupree and Ivy Nile are finding out they're friends.
Yeah.
And they've both got a common goal of also winning tag gold.
Mm-hmm.
And so they then walk away. And as they are walking, the camera pans back to Alpha Academy, who were trying to cheer up Akira Tozawa.
Mm-hmm.
And Tozawa has a title belt featuring a football, I think.
Yep.
And then they all cheer him on to do his dance.
Yes.
Did I miss anything?
No, that was it.
Yeah.
It was just a lot because that conversation, after the camera pans away, didn't stop.
No.
It was still there. So there was just a separate conversation happening with the conversation over here as well. There's a lot happening in this one.
Yeah.
A lot happening in this segment. There was a lot of people just saying and making noise as part of the segment. Weren't really saying much. They were just like, yeah, you know, classic Otis. It was a lot.
With that said, Maxine Dupree and Ivy Nile.
All right.
I'm well on board for that team.
Yeah, sure. You know what? They're going to pick up that story of Ivy Nile being the one to teach Maxine Dupree how to wrestle. That's fine.
Yeah.
I'm on board with that. That's A-okay with me.
I will be so on board for them.
Yeah.
Like this, this episode featured our tag team champions in Piper Niven and Chelsea Green.
Yeah.
And also set up.
You reminded me.
Yeah.
No. Chelsea Green's fine. I hate how the ring announcer announced The Miz.
No! Oh, The Miz.
The Miz.
The Miz!
It was worse than that. It is the worst. Chelsea Green's fine because it's funny. The Miz is just bad. I can't even do it justice right now. I need you to go and watch it. It's really bad. I hate it. Stop doing it.
I'll take your word for it. I skip the entrance.
That's fair.
But, I get a massive kick out of Chelsea Green.
So do I.
And
That's great.
Ludwig Kaiser. Got to do it. It's more in the eyebrows than it is in anything else. But yeah, I'm well into the idea. Sorry, I was saying that you have Piper Niven and Chelsea Green as your tag champs with Tegan Nox and Natalya, already as an established tag team, established-ish, going for the tag belts. And you had Zoey Stark and Shayna Baszler kind of rekindling that friendship that they had. And now you've got Ivy Nile and Maxine Dupree. All of a sudden, there's 4 teams.
That's a division almost.
That feels like a division.
Almost.
Thumbs up from me.
Yeah.
And then there was the main event,
which we've spoken about.
This really was it was the week before the pay-per-view show.
Yes, sure was.
I'm not saying it was bad. It was just, it was mid.
Yep.
Good and bad.
Yep.
But not as much bad. It was just, it's there.
Yep.
And it was like, it had a real energy of, we'll do all the, outside of the main event angle, we'll do that next week.
Yeah.
We'll do that next week.
Yeah. It very much felt like, not necessarily a holding pattern. I don't think that's fair. It was just like a lot of groundwork.
Yeah.
There was a lot of building for things.
That's
and a lot of the groundwork was all right.
Yeah.
Nothing spectacular aside from the Drew heel turn, but nothing bad.
Yeah.
It was just there. There you go. And that was the whole show.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a 3 out of 5 if ever I've watched.
Oh, yeah. Strong 3 out of 5 energy.
Yeah.
To this episode of Raw.
Yeah.
Sorry, I had a sudden panic there that we'd stopped being live. Just because.
But are we?
I think we are still live.
I think so.
Yeah. It says excellent connection, and no one in the chat has said anything. So
Well, and we're still live.
yeah, we're still live.
We're all good.
So yeah, I would say 3 out of 5.
Yeah.
3 out of 5 show. Let us know what you thought in the live chat. The poll has now just gone up, thumbs down, thumbs in the middle, and thumbs up, of course. Let us know what you thought of this episode of Monday Night Raw. Click the link to check out Geology as well. And hey, while you're in the mood to click links, why not come and see us live and in person watching Survivor Series, where we're all going to see CM Punk return together overnight at the Long Arm Pub and Brewery in Shoreditch. We are having a lock-in at a pub, and it's going to be awesome. But don't just take it from me, take it from me. Do you have plans to watch Survivor Series? Well, why not come and watch WWE Survivor Series live and in person with the WrestleTalk team with over 100 other wrestling fans, along with a live version of our Parts of Unknown board game series, No Holds Barred, at the Long Arm Pub and Brewery in London. Not only will we be watching Survivor Series together, but we'll be doing our live reactions to the show from the pub, which means you will have the chance to be on camera and part of the WrestleTalk live experience. This is the best way to watch wrestling pay-per-views, and tickets are available right now. Get your tickets today, and we'll see you there to be part of moments like this.
No, it's Kyrie! It's Kyrie Sane! It's Kyrie Sane! It's Kyrie! It's Kyrie Sane!
We're live, pal. And yeah, you can get your tickets to that in the video description down below, or being spammed by our wonderful moderating team right now.
I wasn't at the Crown Jewel watch party, but I am at this one.
Yeah, Pete's going to be here.
And importantly, Luke, I'm not just going to be at the Survivor Series watch party. Because there's something that I haven't been able to get my hands on for a long time. Something that I was screwed out of. At the Survivor Series watch party, Dan Layton, I will be challenging you for the Jam That Championship. Something that I lost because you jammed it in. You haven't beaten me for that belt properly, Dan. And if you want to earn that belt for real and become the actual Jam That champion, then you're going to have to beat me at Survivor Series. Good luck.
I think we'll speak to the board, but I think we could probably make that official. Pete Quinnell versus Dan the Truth, the Professor Dan Layton, at WWE Survivor Series, our watch party at the Long Arm Pub and Brewery. Get your tickets in the video description down below. Come and join us. We're going to have a grand old time. We need to shout out some of our Patreon backers as well.
I am not logged into Discord on this tablet.
That's fine.
I'll need you to show me.
Would
please.
you like to share my laptop?
Your laptop?
Or,
sure.
Or this iPad?
Yep.
Yeah, if you are one of our $25 or above Pledgehammers, you get your name read out on this very show, like these fine folks. The leader of the brass, NJ Hornsberg.
Parking lot brawl champion, Parker King.
Peter Fiber Brauntus.
Probably better than Kyle, Philip O'Reilly.
The man who has the gold, the man recognized by Swav Nation International as the 24/7 champion, our legend.
Raw's brand ambassador, Redmond 2490.
Reese Cook, what the Rock is smelling.
That's a good one. Mr. Moneybags, Rich Holt.
Burley, Rob Burwell.
Daylight Robbery, Rob James.
Yo, Adrian. Rocky.
And finally, for this Hall of Fame class of the 14th of November 2023, Der Farm General, Roman Dietrich. There you go.
There you go.
I did it.
Tomorrow we're going to have WrestleTalk Behind the Scenes going up, where we're going to be talking about what's been going on the last couple of months. Talk about Survival Series, talk about the WrestleTalk news.
Yeah.
Lots to dive into.
No Holds Barred.
No Holds Barred.
Fantasy Booking Warfare.
The Watch Party.
Yeah.
Lots of stories will be
Lots of
saying there. And then the week after that will be WrestleTalk After Dark. And then the week after that will be WWE Survivor Series 2014 being reviewed by myself and Oliver Davis.
My goodness me, that's a one-match show.
Yeah, isn't it just?
It's a great one match, though.
I mean, yeah, it's the best one match.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward. I haven't watched it in a while either. I'm really looking forward to rewatching it.
Nice.
York Master here says Seth freaking Rollins strutting to the ring with all the grace of a successful mid-card heel. My dad.
Great.
Also, why did Drew give off the guy she told you not to worry about energy?
True.
They also add, can't remember if I quoted correctly, if I did, then enjoy the free money. Seth Rollins with the grace of a mid-card champion. That's very good.
Yeah.
Bizarro Big L said, the show was very mid to me. Too much felt phoned in, and Judgment Day taking the shot felt like a copycat of the Max Caster angle like barely a week ago. That chat with them calling Wagner powerhouse on NXT just feels like cheap writing. Also, Vikings didn't wear horns.
I'll take your word for it.
I'll take your word for that on that as well. Just ask Andy.
Yeah, he'll know.
Ket says, personally, I'd love it if Kaiser and Vinci just ditched Gunther and had a great tag title run. Couldn't care less about Gunther, and those two are a great tag team. They can kick the tag division up to a level if given the chance. Pull the trigger, Trips.
I don't entirely disagree. I disagree entirely with the don't care about Gunther thing because I really, really do. But I think those two can have a great tag run. They're not being really treated as a proper tag team right now, and I think it'd be cool if they were.
Yeah, and you can do that with them still with Gunther.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Ket's not caring about Gunther. What's the matter?
Wild.
What's the matter with you, Ket? Also,
yeah.
Maggie's in the chat. Hi, Maggie.
Hello.
Miss you. And Amy here says, I'm heading home for Thanksgiving. Incidentally, my home is in Chicago. So I'll be at SmackDown and Survivor Series, and I can't wait for what happens next. I'm just excited for War Games.
Yeah, well, it'll be the return of everybody's favorite Chicago native.
Colt Commander.
Sky Blue. Yeah.
John Wick 1GM says, hopefully this Judgment Day alliance with Drew is just the catalyst to have Priest win the World Heavyweight Championship by helping Drew beat Seth and then turn on Drew after the match.
That sounds really good. I like that.
Walker 4LB says, tensions with Finn and Priest going back to the briefcase and now Leadergate. JDM jealous he waited 6 months and Drew is straight in. Dom jealous with Rhea showing Drew favor. She is looking post-Judgment Day aligning with Drew. Becky and Seth versus Drew and Rhea parallels.
So
it's
sure.
like a mixed tag of doing Becky and Seth versus Drew and Rhea.
I don't want to see a Becky and Seth mixed tag ever again. I'm scarred from the last time.
Also, I would say with Walker, I don't think Drew's joined Judgment Day.
No. But I can totally see some of those, like, that dissension bit of people being like, well, why are you favoring Drew? Like, you're doing Drew a lot of favors here. Like, we've been here the whole time, like, working for Judgment Day and all that stuff. Like, I totally see all that stuff.
Maggie said, have me on your show, you cowards.
Okay.
All right.
Come here, then.
Yeah. You get on a plane?
Yeah.
You know where we are.
Yeah.
So, it's on
Get on it.
It's on you, bud. Armageddon 94 has been in Memberg for 18 months in a row, so they need to bring Teddy Long to tell Xia Li that she's going one-on-one with Becky Lynch, player. Bizarro Big L says, inferior song... You alright?
You know how Teddy Long was always like, you go one-on-one with this man. But it's Becky Lynch. With this man.
I smell a 6-man tag, player. I smell a tag team match. Bizarro Big L. Inferior song for the sterilized version of the stipulation. I understand that WWE style is different, but then pretending they do anything near hardcore matches is laughable. Also, Cole cannot pronounce coup de grace, let alone be cultured. He says yeet, FFS. Quote the Raven 79 says, why is Sarah Logan not being used? We all know that she can wrestle, yet all she's doing is managing. I don't recall her even seeing her in the Battle Royal last week. She could get more ring time. Come on, Trips. Book her.
I suppose so. I don't know how, like, really good she is in the ring or whatever. I know she had flashes of, like, pretty good stuff when she was having a run on Raw after she split away from the Riot Squad and everything. I don't know how good or bad she is. I don't know if she's, like, going to be rusty in the ring because, obviously, like, she's had a kid. She's been away from the ring for a while. So
It's been a while.
I don't know how good or bad she is, but maybe if she wants to wrestle, it's probably her choice, you know? Yeah, maybe if she doesn't want to wrestle, then she doesn't want to wrestle. Yeah, she could be a manager.
Jackie Boy says, I think it could still be Kevin Owens in War Games because he was suspended by Nick Aldis, so he won't be on SmackDown, but could be on Raw because Brad split LOL.
Lol.
And then Randy will be Shinsuke's match. Don't mind that at all, Jackie Boy. I like that a lot.
Okay, yeah.
You can still announce ahead of time that it's Randy versus Nakamura at Survivor Series.
Yeah.
And Kevin Owens could come out at the end of the show to be the surprise fifth man for Team Cody.
That's good, yeah.
And I would so much rather it be Kevin. He's been such a part of this story.
100%, yeah.
Jay Tuma has become a new member. And Jake Zimmers here says, no better way to ring in my 29th year than listening to the boys while attempting to work out. Thank you guys for the laughs over the years. And to introduce a talking point, why is Miz a babyface? Why? Cheers from Pennsylvania. Look, I had my reservations, but it's working. Do I like it? Not particularly, but man, the crowd reactions for him, like he is over as a babyface. Like his babyface fire comeback he had last week, the crowd were into it.
Yeah.
And I've always, my position has always been, it might not be my cup of tea, but if it connects with a crowd, then clearly it's working.
Yep.
And Powerpackers 90 here, who's been a member for 16 months in a row, says, thoughts on Logan Paul trying to pawn the US title and spending a night with ladies with the belt on? Heel heat or just Logan being Logan?
Definitely heel heat, and it very much fits with Logan's character. I kind of love it. TBH.
Yeah, I mean, he's a prick, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's his thing.
So he's just acting like a prick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what he do.
Yeah, so makes sense to me.
Yeah.
You know, he put coffee in water. Like, you
Yeah.
know, he's a knob. So he's now got a belt and he's acting like a...
Do you mean caffeine?
What did I say?
Coffee.
Could put coffee
Because
in
if you
there,
put coffee in water, you make coffee.
you make coffee. Actually, just get more coffee.
It's this revolutionary idea I've come up with to get more coffee.
See, Pete, this is why I didn't make $2.5 billion last year. Because I went to investors. I went on Dragon's Den and I was like, lads, I don't know if you've heard of this revolutionary concept I've come up with. But you know, coffee, you try adding water to it. You don't just chew it in your mouth like tobacco.
Oh god,
Yeah.
I find it very funny, all the Logan Paul stuff.
This is what you want him to have the US title belt for.
Absolutely,
This is exactly what he has the US title belt for.
I'd said this on Twitter as well. Like him being a dick to the US title is this is the second time I brought up my fantasy booking on this show, but that is exactly how I pictured him treating the world title when he won it. It's just a prop. He's just like, I don't care about whatever. You know, I'll just win it because I can. I don't care about it.
He showed up at that UFC event. He had the belt on him. Out of his phone, we shout out to Dominic Mysterio. Like, that's why you put the belt on Logan Paul.
100%.
This is why I was pitching for him to win Money in the Bank.
Mhm.
Like, can you imagine him going around to all these things with Money in the Bank briefcase and stuff? Like, it's great with Damien. I get it. But, man, it would have been so awesome on Logan.
Yeah.
And the US title on him, it's a title that doesn't really mean a lot. Like, it's a title that no one particularly cares about. No one is there desperate to see United States Championship matches. It's not like what Gunther has done with the IC belt, which has made it a relevant title.
Yeah.
But we could be in a period of time where Logan Paul is going to do for the US title what Gunther has done for the IC belt.
I would need to clarify, in a very different way.
In a very specific kind of way.
Yeah.
Not through Gunther's matches, but by Logan Paul being Logan Paul.
Yes.
But anyway, I think that's going to do it for this episode of the show. Thank you all so much for your Ultrachats. Thank you all so much for your live attendance here. Please do check out this episode sponsor, Geology. Click the link in the video description down below. Use the promo code WRESTLE70 to get 70% off your trial set. Or you can scan the QR code that is above my head right now. Make sure you get your tickets for our Survivor Series watch-along party a week Saturday at the Long Arm Pub and Brewery in Shoreditch. And we'll be back on Thursday. Yeah, we're back on Thursday with the Dynamite show. I'm trying to remember which pay-per-view's on which week.
It's Full Gear this weekend.
Yeah, so we're back on Thursday with Dynamite. Then on Friday, it's our Full Gear predictions.
Yep.
And then on Sunday, it will be you and Oliver Davis reviewing Full Gear.
Correct.
And
also SmackDown podcast on
Yes,
Saturday.
and there'll be the SmackDown podcast on Saturday, and then there'll be Full Gear on the Sunday. No Collision review next week because, well, Full Gear will have happened, so it seems pretty reductive to then do a Collision review.
Yes.
But then we'll be back for Raw on the Tuesday.
There you go.
Because then, on the Wednesday, it'll be our Survivor Series predictions.
Oh, God.
Then it'll be Dynamite, and then it'll be possibly SmackDown, but then it'll also be Survivor Series live reaction to the Long Arm Pub and Brewery, and then the Survivor Series review, and then a Collision review, and then Raw.
And then Raw, and it goes on.
The content never stops, so make sure you hit that subscribe button if this is your first time here and you haven't already, and give us a thumbs up as well, and leave a comment down below with what you thought of this episode of the show. I've been Luke Owen, DAD. That has been Pete Quinnell. Jam that jam. Sorry, people just point out I'm on the poll.
Oh, yeah. What was the poll?
Let's go to end. No, hold on. It is 55% thumbs up, 36% thumbs in the middle, 7% thumbs down. That is a low thumbs up.
Yeah, but I think that's fair. It's mid.
Yeah,
it's a mid show.
It is a mid show.
Yeah,
I mean that's absolutely right.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's lower than we've had in a while. Put coffee in your water.